Right, so welcome back to another video on this channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something very interesting. Now, of course, I'm sure as most of you are aware, Manchester United do draw themselves quite a bit of criticism when it comes to getting VAR decisions and decisions in general from the referees. And as a matter of fact, they've managed to break the Premier League all-time penalties in a single season record, getting 14 penalties from referees this season. And yeah, that is why in today's video, I'm going to be going through and analysing all 14 of the Premier League penalties that Manchester United have got during the season, and giving my verdict and overall my personal opinion on whether it was a penalty or not, and basically trying to debunk the myth whether Manchester United actually do get the help from referees or whether it's just a myth. Now, before we get into this video, just a quick disclaimer: I am by no means a referee or an expert when it comes to these sort of decisions, so the verdicts I make on these penalties are literally purely based on my opinion and nothing else. So yeah, if you do get offended or you do disagree with me, then just leave it down in the comment section below. But yeah, I'm going to try and be as unbiased as I possibly can because of course I am a Chelsea fan, for those of you who don't know, so maybe there will be a bit of bias, but I'm going to try my absolute utmost best. And yeah, let's get straight into this video now, starting off with the first penalty that Manchester United got this season on the opening day at Old Trafford in the 4-0 win over my club Chelsea. So Marcus Rashford bursts into the box with the ball, cuts it back, and Kurt Zouma clearly clips his legs from underneath him. So yeah, a definite penalty in this one. I don't think there'll be many that argue with this one. It was a very clumsy tackle from Kurt Zouma, and I still remember, of course, when Kurt Zouma did give away that penalty, I did think it was a stonewall penalty, a very stupid tackle from the Frenchman. And yeah, as I said, I don't think anyone will have any arguments about that because I do think it was a definite stonewall penalty. So yeah, right, so the second one now on the second game of the Premier League season, when Manchester United travelled to the Molineux to play Wolves in a 1-1 draw. Paul Pogba bursts into the box like Rashford did in the last game and goes around Connor Cody, and to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what my mind is on this one. Don't get me wrong, I do think that there is a foul in that because I do think that Connor Cody does make contact with Pogba's foot, but yeah, I don't really know how to feel about this one because I do think that Pogba really does play for it. And look, I know that he's not the only player that does that, of course, because a lot of players do that when they're going into the box and trying to get a penalty. But yeah, I've put this one down as a 50-50 because although I have seen them given before, there's also been a few instances where like these kind of penalties haven't been given. So yeah, I've put this one down as like a 50-50. I don't really know how to feel about it. Right, so the third one now is Scott McTominay in the third game of the season. So 3 games, 3 penalties in a row for Manchester United. And yet McTominay runs the ball into the box. Luka Milivojevic's right foot catches McTominay. And yet for me, this one is a penalty. It did actually take me quite a while to figure this out because I did have to go through replays and replays of this one to actually find out whether it was a foul or not. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you do go and look at this one yourself, McTominay runs into the box and Milivojevic clearly stops his run and makes him fall down. And yeah, for me, that was a stonewall penalty once again. Right, so Manchester United's 4th penalty of the season now in a 1-0 win for them at Old Trafford over Leicester City. Now, like Pogba's one, I have seen them given and I haven't seen them given at the same time, so it's another one where I'm kind of on the fence. And like Pogba's one, I do think that any other position on the field it is a foul because Rashford tries to cut across Soyuncu and Soyuncu kind of holds him back a bit as Rashford's trying to run into the box. But yeah, although I do think that it is kind of a foul, I do think that Rashford kind of makes a meal of it as well. And yeah, like Pogba's one, it's another one where I've seen them given, but then on other instances they might not be given. So yeah, it's a very hard one to call, so I put it down as yet another 50-50 decision. And okay, so Manchester United's next penalty, the 5th one of this video, away at Carrow Road in a 3-1 victory over Norwich City. Now for me, this is the first one where I have to say it is absolutely not a penalty. I mean, if anything, Daniel James fouls Godfrey in the process. So Ben Godfrey and Daniel James are both running directly at the ball as Ben Godfrey is of course trying to defend Daniel James from going towards Norwich's goal. And yeah, as they're both running towards the ball, I actually think that if anything, Daniel James fouls Godfrey here because they both run directly for the ball and Daniel James kind of glides into the back of Godfrey. And this is the first penalty in this video where I'm kind of wondering, looking back at it and going, how on earth did they give that a penalty to Manchester United? I'm sorry, but there's just no foul whatsoever involved on a Manchester United player. However, Manchester United did end up getting a second penalty in this game. Fred takes on the shot on his left foot and Todd Cantwell clearly raises both of his arms to try and block the ball. And yeah, unlike the first one for me, I think that this is a definite penalty because Todd Cantwell leaves his arms in the air. But I do want to take this time to kind of make the comparison because of course Paul Pogba gave away a penalty for West Ham a few weeks ago where he left his arms up in the air. And some Manchester United fans had the audacity to claim that that wasn't a penalty. And I want you to see, compare that penalty that Pogba gave away against West Ham and the one that Cantwell gave away in this game that I'm talking about. There's literally minimal difference. So I don't know how Manchester United fans can claim that Pogba was trying to defend his face or whatever the excuse they gave was. But yeah, overall verdict for me that one of the penalties in the Norwich game, the first one from Godfrey on Daniel James wasn't a foul, but the second one was a clear handball by Todd Cantwell, so yeah, a clear penalty. And right, so the 7th penalty that Manchester United have gotten in this Premier League season at home to Tottenham, a stamp from Moussa Sissoko on Marcus Rashford in the penalty area. Now for me, this is a very contentious one because yes, hear me out, Moussa Sissoko does step on Marcus Rashford's foot, but you have to admit, is that amount of contact enough to make Rashford fall to the floor? In my opinion, personally, no. And I do have to say that Rashford massively play acts to the referee to try and get him to make the decision. I mean, a lot of footballers do that, but that's why I'm going to criticise Rashford for in this. And yeah, the one thing I would say as well, if that was the other way around and it was Rashford that stamped on Sissoko or another Tottenham player, do you think that would be given at the Stretford end? I don't really think so. And that is why I'm not quite convinced by this one, so I'm going to put it down as like another 50-50. And now the next penalty Manchester United got was away at the Etihad against Manchester City in the 2-0 win. I don't think anyone will have an issue with this one because of course Rashford does burst into the box at pace and Bernardo Silva does an absolutely clumsy challenge when he's in the penalty area. And yeah, as I said, a stonewall penalty, a clear foul, and yeah, let's just move on to the next one because there was absolutely no no arguments about this one. Now, yet another penalty Manchester United got against Norwich City. This is the 9th one in this video, but this time it is at Old Trafford. Tim Crull allegedly fouling Brandon Williams. Now, for me, this is not a penalty whatsoever. And yeah, no, 9 times out of 10, if the player runs into the box and the keeper takes his legs from underneath him, it is going to be a penalty. However, in my personal opinion, Brandon Williams does dive for this. I don't think there's very much contact from Crull to make him go down, because quite often you do see players run into the box, and then when the keeper gets within an inch of them, they just knock the ball past them and fall over whether they've been touched or not. And I think that's a perfect instance of what this penalty was given. And yes, I will admit Tim Crull doesn't help himself because he does leave his arms out, but I think that at the end of the day, Brandon Williams dives for this, and I don't think it's a penalty in my opinion. And now the 10th penalty in this video. We're moving high into this list now. Another one similar to the last one. Bruno Fernandes goes around Ben Foster, and yeah, this is another one like the last one I'm not convinced about whatsoever, because although there is minimal contact from Ben Foster on Bruno Fernandes' leg, but yeah, Bruno Fernandes, let's be real, is already on his way down, and I'm not quite convinced about this. I mean, I have seen them given before in the past, and this is another one where it's kind of 50-50. There's been a lot like 50-50s in this video, but yeah, in my opinion, Bruno Fernandes plays up for this foul, and yeah, for me it's a 50-50, so another one I can't wrap my head around completely. And now the 11th one in this video, going into the restart now. So Manchester United 1-1 draw against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Paul Pogba does brilliantly to completely round Eric Dyer in the box, and for me this is a 50-50. I mean, at the time when I was watching the game live, I did think that it was a penalty because I thought that Dyer fouled Pogba, which looking back at this now a few times and watching replay over replay, I'm not convinced this is a penalty whatsoever, because if you actually watch this back, Eric Dyer doesn't actually commit to a challenge at any point during Pogba's move. And yeah, I've watched it back again, and if anything, Paul Pogba puts his foot into Eric Dyer's foot. So for me, I'm very much not convinced about this one once again. And right, so the 12th penalty in this video, the third to last one against Bournemouth at home. Adam Smith with a trailing hand in the penalty area. And yeah, for me, this is another one that most people can't argue. I think it is a penalty because Adam Smith leaves his arm up as the ball bounces up at him. And yeah, the trailing arm from Smith, it's very poor defending from his point of view. And yeah, I think that's a definite penalty in my opinion. Right, so the second last one in this video now, and definitely the one that's caused the most controversy overall. Manchester United's 3-0 win over Aston Villa at Villa Park, and allegedly Bruno Fernandes is fouled in the box by Ezri Konsa. So yeah, it looks like at first glance that Bruno Fernandes is trying to do a roulette past Ezri Konsa, and in the end, Bruno Fernandes literally steps on Ezri Konsa's leg and gets a penalty for it. Now, I know a lot of people have said that if anything, Bruno Fernandes should have been sent off for this. However, I do not think it's a red card for Bruno Fernandes because it wasn't an intentional stamp on Konsa's leg. But at the same time, I mean, Bruno Fernandes steps on Konsa and then goes down acting like he's been shot. And this is the main reason why Fernandes gets so much stick, because don't get me wrong, he's an unbelievable player and he's done absolutely wonders for Manchester United since he's come in January. But some of the play acting he does is unbelievable, and I think there's absolutely no hope in hell that is ever a penalty. If anything, it's a foul to Aston Villa. And moving on to the last penalty in this video now, number 14 of course, which I can't believe I'm saying, and that is Anthony Martial against Leicester City in, of course, their 2-0 win over the King Power Stadium to secure Champions League football for next season. And for me, this is a stonewall as they come. Martial bursts into the box going through on goal, and Johnny Evans and Wes Morgan both sandwich him from behind, and yeah, I don't think anyone will have any arguments with that stonewall penalty. And so to conclude, out of all the 14 penalties Manchester United have been given in the Premier League this season, my verdict is that 6 of them should have been penalties, 4 are like 50-50s, and then 4 were absolutely no's. But yeah, overall I do think that Manchester United do get a bit of luck from the referees. I mean, the one against Aston Villa sums it up perfectly. I mean, there's no way in hell that is ever a penalty for any team at any situation. And yeah, make of what you will on my opinion, and if you want to go and make your own judgment on these penalties, then I will leave a link to the thread on Twitter that I did manage to get these penalties from, so yeah, go on over to that thread and make your own opinion. And yeah, that's where we're going to end this video now. So if you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like on this video, that'd be much appreciated. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're closing in on 200 subscribers, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.